Hello and welcome everyone to our very first episode of ABAP on Cloud training with me Amrit. Okay, so let's start with the introduction part. Introduction to ABAP on Cloud. Slowly and gradually we will see everything in detail, right? We are going to see each and every portion of our ABAP on Cloud on BTP. So first we will start with the introduction part, which is how ABAP on cloud is evolving. So how ABAP is evolving. How ABAP is evolving. So if we talk about earlier, we had ECC system, right? Earlier we had ECC system. ECC system. Here ECC stands for Enterprise Central Component. So Enterprise Central Component. Enterprise Central Component. And for SAP implementation, right? So earlier we had ECC system for SAP implementation, but in 2015 SAP launched its fourth generation software, software, and they named it S4HANA, right? They launched their fourth generation software and they named it S4HANA. What you are going to see in case of S4HANA is S4HANA is available in two flavors. So SAP launched the S4HANA in two flavors, where first one is SAP S4HANA on-premise system, S4HANA on-premise system, and second one is SAP S4HANA on cloud system. So it is available for us in two flavor, on premise and on cloud. So earlier we had SAP ECC system, right? SAP ECC system. Then what SAP did, it introduced a new flavor and they came with S4HANA, right? And S4HANA is in two flavors, S4HANA on premise and then S4HANA cloud. Now what is the basic difference between this S4HANA on-premise and S4HANA cloud? So basic difference, on-premise system. What is on-premise? On-premise system. So let's discuss first on-premise, right? So on-premise system is where your company owns the hardware. It is where your company owns the hardware and they own the entire infrastructure, everything for the installation and all those things. Who is responsible for it? So your company is responsible for it. So they own all the infrastructure. Okay, they own all the infrastructure. They have to set up the server, the networking, the hardware, the RAM and the CPU. They have to do everything. So they have to set up the server, networking part, hardware, RAM and CPU also. So what we see here is everything is maintained and owned by the company in case of our SAP on-premise system. So we will have to purchase all the license of S4HANA. We will have to purchase all the software and hardware, and we will have to keep a separate base system for the installation of on-premise system. So what we will see here is, so it takes a significant amount of cost for its maintenance, right? For its maintenance, it takes a significant amount of cost for its maintenance. And then we have on cloud. So on cloud system, on cloud system. After on premise we have on cloud system. Okay, what is on cloud here? So in on cloud, in the cloud, what we see is the hardware and all the infrastructure 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 are actually considered by the vendor who is providing the solution. So who is providing the solution, and what we do as a user, and we only consume it. So we are not responsible for its maintenance. The vendor who is providing us the software is responsible for its maintenance, but what we do is we only consume the solution as a software as a service. So this is your SAP on cloud, on premise and on cloud software. Basic difference between the on premise and on cloud. Now, what was the behind technology of evolution of from SAP ECC system into S4HANA system? So let's discuss that. Second, behind technology for evolution of ECC system into S4HANA system. What was the behind technology for evolution of SAP ECC system into S4HANA system, right? So what we see in case of SAP ECC system, first let's start with ECC, then we will move on to S4HANA, right? So let's give a proper color to it also. Yeah, SAP ECC system. So in the ECC system, what we usually see in the SAP ECC system, the behind technology which is responsible for all the execution. So the behind technology in case of our SAP ECC system is SAP NetWeaver, right? SAP NetWeaver, whose latest version is obviously 7.5 version. Okay, so in the ECC system, the behind technology is SAP NetWeaver, whose latest version is obviously the current 7.5 version, right? Now within the SAP NetWeaver, we have our ABAP layer. Within this SAP NetWeaver, so which is more or less backbone of solution, which is responsible for executing our ABAP program. So responsible for executing our ABAP program. So within the SAP NetWeaver, we have our ABAP layer, which is more or less backbone of solution, which is responsible for executing our ABAP program. So in case of, if I talk about my SAP ECC system, what we will see is, this is my SAP ECC system, right? So in our SAP system, we had our SAP NetWeaver integrated with, and the current SAP NetWeaver is 7.5 version. within this SAP NetWeaver we had our ABAP layer, right? We had our ABAP layer, and also we can have our HANA DB also. So also if we want, also we can use our in-memory database with it, which is HANA database, right? So HANA DB. If we want, we can use our in-memory database, which is HANA DB. So this is my SAP ECC system. Now if I talk about S4 HANA, so S4 HANA, S4 HANA system. So what SAP has told, SAP has told to remove the support of ECC, remove the support of ECC system by the end of 2027, by the end of 2027. And after it most of us, or all of us will have no choice but to only use S4 HANA system. S4 HANA system. So after it, all of us will have no choice but to only use the S4 HANA system. Now if I talk about my S4 HANA system, in case of SAP S4 HANA, so in case of SAP S4 HANA system, we will no longer be, or we will no longer have SAP NetWeaver layer. So we will no longer have our SAP NetWeaver layer. Rather than what we see in case of our S4 HANA, we have our new ABA layer, new ABA layer. There is a ABA layer for ABAP in case of our S4 HANA system. So there we have new ABA layer, and default implementation of our S4 HANA system will be only based on HANA database. So in case of our SAP S4 HANA system, we will no longer have SAP NetWeaver. Rather than we will have our new ABA layer, and default implementation will only be done on HANA DB. So this is our ABA layer. If you check, you will find out that this is our ABA layer in case of our S4 HANA system, which is available for both S4 HANA on-premise and S4 HANA cloud, and by default all the implementation are done only and only on HANA database. Okay, so if I check only on HANA database, right? So this will be the default backbone in terms of technology in our S4 HANA solution, and this will also be the backbone of any S4 HANA cloud solution also. So for both S4 HANA on-premise and S4 HANA cloud, this will be the backbone now instead of our SAP NetWeaver. Now if I talk about why S4 HANA, right? So what are the main advantages of S4 HANA system? So what are the main advantages of S4 HANA system? Main advantages that we see within our S4 HANA. So what are the main advantages of our S4 HANA system? So what S4 HANA system does, here we have utilizing the SAP HANA full potential, SAP HANA DB, for its computation power by doing code to data paradigm. So code to data paradigm. So here We will be utilizing the SAP HANA database for its computation power by doing code to data paradigm. Then second main advantage is the solution is based upon the standardized approach. The solution is based upon the standardized approach. Here the implementation time is less, so implementation time is less, and we can implement it faster. So here the implementation time is very less and we can implement it faster, right? Then what you see is the third main advantage. So the third main advantage is its flavor. The third main advantage is its flavor. So it is available in both on-premise and on cloud as well. Both on-premise and on cloud as well. And what you will see here in case of our SAP S/4HANA, the default user experience. So the default experience of end user will be SAP Fiori user experience. This is the beauty of our S/4HANA system. Here by default the default experience for our end user will be Fiori only, right? The default experience for our for our end user will be SAP Fiori only. So Fiori applications are user friendly application, more they are very more interactive, and they provide a really good user experience for the end users, right? So what is the future for our ABAP developers? As a ABAP developers, what is the future for us? So future for ABAP developers, if you are only working on SAP SSS system, kindly start moving to S/4HANA system and learn ABAP on cloud definitely. So future for ABAP developers, ABAP developers. What is the future for ABAP developers? What is the future of ABAP developers? So what SAP did, SAP also added the RESTful application programming model. SAP also added this RESTful application programming model into the ABA layer. So ABA layer, they added this into the ABA layer, which is going to prevail for a very long time from now on. So that is why it is very crucial for us to learn this RESTful application programming model on ABAP on cloud or ABAP on BTP, so which is going to prevail for a very long time from now, right? And now this is where we will have to understand and build the applications. So for ABAPers, SAP added this RESTful application programming model, and this is where we will have to understand and build the application. So what they did, they integrated this RESTful application programming model into the ABA layer. So if I go and check, see here what SAP did, they integrated this RESTful application programming model within this ABA layer. So they integrated this RESTful application programming model into this ABA layer. So what is this RESTful application programming model? Let's see that. So RESTful application programming model is not just applicable for us when we are on cloud, It's not only applicable for us when we are on cloud, but also it is indeed applicable for us if we are working on S/4HANA system. S/4HANA system. So RESTful application programming model is not just applicable for us when we are on cloud, but also it is indeed applicable for us if we are working directly on S/4HANA system. So for our on-premise, indeed applicable for us if we are working on S/4HANA system on-premise, right? It is applicable for us in this situation also. So for on-premise, we can start consuming our new RESTful application programming model. So RESTful application programming model from version 1909 OP, which was introduced in September 2019. So for our on-premise, we can start consuming our new RESTful application programming model from version 1909, which was introduced from September 2019, right? And for our S/4HANA cloud, so for our S/4HANA cloud, we will start consuming our new RESTful application programming model from the version 1908, which was introduced in August 2019. So this RAP was introduced for on-premise in September 2019, and for on cloud it was introduced in August 2019. Okay, so this is the future for a web developer. So we must know what we will see, that for our on-premise they had told to give the new features and new update on a yearly basis, and for our S/4HANA cloud they have told to give the new update on a quarterly basis, right? So in ABAP layer, this RESTful application programming model has been integrated. So all these things, let's discuss a little bit about our SAP cloud platform. SAP cloud platform, or currently now it is known as SAP BTP platform. You might have heard about this one also. SAP cloud platform and SAP, or you can say it SAP BTP platform, right? So what SAP is doing, SAP is now offering a trial for us for this ABAP layer on their innovation platform, so called SAP BTP platform. Earlier it was known as SAP cloud platform, but in 2021 they renamed it as SAP BTP platform. So what SAP BTP does, SAP BTP platform also offers a variety of runtime like Java. Not only ABAP, it offers lots of variety of runtime environment like Java, Node.js, HANA native development. So HANA native development, ABAP also. Now they have integrated this ABAP also, right? So now ABAP ABAP runtime has also been integrated by integrated into the wait a second integrated into the SAP BTP platform and of course all the implementation will be completely based on HANA DB, right? Based on HANA DB. Okay. So what this SAP BTP platform does, if you check it, this is your SAP cloud platform, right? Currently now it is known as SAP BTP platform, and if you will check this cloud platform, they have integrated the Java, Node.js and all the other programming language runtime environment also, right? So what this SAP BTP platform does, this SAP BTP platform is now also working as a platform as a service, which is providing all the runtime where we can develop our applications and deploy it. So the SAP platform is now also working as a platform as a service now. This BTP now is working as a platform as a service, which provides platform for lots of solutions, and it provides runtime where we can simply develop our own applications and we can directly deploy it, right? So for our BTP platform, the default tool which we will use to connect with our SAP system will be our ABAP development tools. So ABAP development tools, ADT on Eclipse. So we will by default use this ADT tools to connect our ABAP system or SAP system, right? Now, what is the motivation for ABAP developers to adapt this new programming model? Why should we adapt it, right? Why should we adapt it, and what are the features which we can get if we are adapting this new programming model, right? So fourth point, motivation for ABAP developers to adapt this new programming model currently known as RAP, so RESTful Application Programming. So as a ABAP developer, like, what is the motivation for us to adapt this new programming model? What is the motivation for us? So now if I talk about the motivation, you will find out that new solutions are directly based on the SAP Fiori. Currently it is directly based on SAP Fiori user experience model. So the ABAP RESTful programming model allows us to embrace the Fiori user experience, so that we can directly build the transactional Fiori apps. We can build the transactional Fiori apps. We can build the transactional Fiori apps which are responsive in nature. So responsive, right? which are responsive. What do I mean by responsive? So here responsive means the Fiori apps can adapt themselves adapt themselves to mobile, desktop, okay, and tablets. They can adapt themselves to mobile, desktop, and tablets according to the requirement. So according to the requirement, they can directly adapt themselves according to the situation, right? So what is the motivation for ABAP developers? Now what is the motivation here? So what is the motivation? ABAP is evolving. Are we ready to adapt this change? So first thing is, right, new solutions are directly based on the Fiori user experience model, right? And our ABAP programming, RESTful programming model allows us to embrace the new Fiori user experience, right? So that we can build the transactional Fiori apps which are very responsive in nature, that they can adapt the mobile, desktop, and tablets also, right? According to the device, they will simply adapt themselves. So this is the first feature. Second is leveraging the feature of HANA. So second most important thing is it leverages the HANA. And what do we mean by leverages? So it leverages the capability of in-memory computing engine by achieving the code to data paradigm. So it leverages the by in-memory computing engine, okay, in-memory computing engine by achieving the code to data paradigm of our HANA database, right? So this is the one of the most important feature, that why should we evolve and why should we learn this RESTful application programming model. Third one is another benefit. Let's see the third one. So another benefit is robust programming language. So robust programming language, which is our RAP, which is more safer, where we can only consume the resources which are released by SAP, okay. We can only consume the resources which are released and given by SAP. Also what we can do here is, also we are exposing the data and the API on the cloud, which means we want to be more robust, simply more robust, right? In terms of security also. So this is another feature, a robust programming language, so that we can consume all the resources given by SAP system, and we can expose our data and the API which we have developed directly on the cloud platform or BTP platform, right? So which simply means we want to be more robust in terms of security also. Then fourth and the last and the most important feature is SAP is also now providing the ABAP as runtime environment. SAP is also providing the ABAP as runtime environment on the cloud platform. Okay, so we can also develop our side-by-side extensions using the SAP ABAP layer. So SAP is also now providing the ABAP as a runtime environment on the cloud platform, so we can develop our side-by-side extensions using the SAP ABAP layer, right? So these are the or some of the most important motivation why should we uh, upgrade ourselves from SAP ECC to S4 HANA and now to RESTful application programming model. So ABAP is evolving day by day, right? Now the question comes here, as a ABAP developer, what we can do with this ABAP on cloud? What are the things that we can achieve, right? So as a ABAP developer, as a ABAP developer, what we can do with this ABAP on cloud? With this ABAP on cloud, right? As a ABAP developer, what we can do with this ABAP on cloud? So as a ABAP developer, we can develop a new application completely using this platform, we can develop a new application completely using this platform, or what we can do is, or we can extend our existing solution. If there is already a built-in application which you have developed already, so what you can do is you can simply extend that particular solution, and that extends S4 HANA, S4 HANA on-premise or S4 HANA cloud, both of them we can do that, right? On-premise and S4 HANA cloud also. So if we talk about the solution here, you see that how we are going to develop on our ABAP on cloud. So on the solution provides both of the feature. We can develop right from scratch, and also we can extend a existing application also, right? So we can develop from scratch, and also we can go for right from scratch. So here we can build everything. We can build everything from scratch. Okay, we can build everything scratch simply means building everything from scratch, like from scratch. What does it means? It means tables, FM, function modules, programs, classes, etc. Building everything. Nothing was there. We are directly developing everything. Let's say your field is empty and now you are growing your crops completely from starting, right? So this kind of approach you already know is known as greenfield implementation. And this one is also known as managed scenario. We will see them everything in detail. This is just the introduction part, right? So we can build everything from scratch, which is also known as managed scenario. Or the second one is if we already have a existing application, and we are creating something new using that existing application, that is what we call the brownfield implementation. So we can go for brownfield implementation also, right? So we can go for greenfield implementation, that is developing everything from scratch, and then we can also, if we already have existing application, then we can we can build something on the top of it. This is what we call the brownfield implementation, also known as unmanaged scenario. Unmanaged scenario. So this will be your new thing here, your new application. That is, you can, if you are building for new application, you can go for greenfield or managed, and the second one is brownfield or unmanaged scenario, right? Perfect. So two ways of creating solution on ABAP on cloud, completely new application. So there are two ways, greenfield and brownfield, or we are extending a S4HANA solution, right? So these are the two things that we can do as a ABAP developer on ABAP on cloud platform, right? Now, what was the journey of it? So journey of ABAP on cloud, how SAP came with this solution or with this new technology. So journey of ABAP on cloud. Journey of ABAP on cloud. How SAP came with this new feature. Journey of ABAP on cloud. So what you see is in 2017, SAP has announced the ABAP on cloud, and they brought the ABAP runtime environment on the SAP cloud platform. So that is where we can start actually executing programs, okay, into the SAP BTP platform. So in 2017, SAP announced the ABAP on cloud, and they brought this ABAP runtime environment on the SAP cloud platform, where we can start executing our programs directly on our BTP platform. So earlier it was known as cloud platform, now it is known as SAP BTP platform. So it was first introduced in 2017. So this is the journey of our ABAP on cloud announced by SAP in 2017. Then in 2018, so in 2018, SAP announced the general availability of ABAP environment on the SAP cloud platform. Okay, in 2018 it was announced, right? Then in between 2018 to 2019, they came with this ABAP RESTful programming model. So ABAP RESTful programming model, which is now our backbone. So which has become our backbone for ABAP programming. We must learn this particular ABAP on cloud, right? So in 2018, between 2018 and 19, they came with this ABAP RESTful programming model, which is now our backbone for our ABAP programming. Okay, so now we see here is new concepts were added. On the top of ABAP on HANA concepts. With ABAP on HANA concepts, new concepts were added in case of our ABAP on HANA cloud. ABAP on cloud. So it do not means that our CDS view is obsolete. No, they are in use, but with these some new features were also added, right? And then at last in 2019, SAP started offering a trial account based on the SAP cloud platform, which is your BTP now. So BTP platform, right? In 2019, SAP started offering this trial accounts. A trial offered in cloud platform environment was given. So this is the journey of your ABAP on cloud. Okay, so this was a very basic introduction of our ABAP on cloud training which we are going to see. So first we need to know where we are evolving and how we are moving from ECC to S4HANA on premise and S4HANA cloud. Now how ABAP on cloud is working, and how this restful application programming model came into the picture, right? And what are the things that we can do with it. So all these things we must know. So this was a very basic introduction, and this is the end of our very first episode. We will continue from next part. Okay, so thank you very much.